So we all know the classic problem. You're trying to move a high-quality video signal.
Hmm.
You run a standard SDI cable, maybe a few hundred feet across a venue, and, well, physics just starts to get in the way.
Right, you get signal degradation. It's just inevitable with copper.
But what happens when you need to send a camera feed from, say, a football field to a control room on the other side of a campus?
Yeah, that's where you hit a wall. I mean, you're talking miles.
Yeah.
Usually you'd have to convert to IP, which means compression.
And latency, which for live video is a complete non-starter.
Exactly. If you need a pristine, uncompressed signal, you need a different solution. You need fiber.
Which brings us to this little piece of hardware right here on the desk. This is the Kramer 690R.
And this is basically designed to solve that exact problem.
Yeah.
Keeping that signal as baseband SDI over these massive distances.
We're talking a range of up to 10 kilometers. That's what, over 6 miles using single-mode fiber?
It just completely eliminates that distance barrier for uncompressed video. So this is a receiver.
So it pairs with a transmitter, like the 690T.
Right, or a big fiber matrix switcher. It takes 2 optical signals in via these little LC connectors.
The standard small form factor ones?
And it converts them right back to 2 standard SDI signals on BNC connectors. That's it.
Okay, so 10 kilometers is pretty standard for single-mode fiber. The distance itself isn't maybe the big surprise here.
No, the real challenge, the thing you have to solve for at that range, is signal integrity.
Because if you just convert that light back to electricity and, dump it out, you're often left with a really noisy signal.
Full of jitter, which means it can't travel much further on COCUS. That's why the engineering inside this little box is so important.
So what's it doing?
The 690R uses what Kramer calls its equalization and reclocking technology.
Okay, so that sounds like more than just a simple conversion.
Oh, it is. It doesn't just pass the signal along, it acts as a repeater. It strips away all that jitter, it retimes the digital pulse, and it completely rebuilds the signal.
Ah, and that rebuilding process is what gives you the extended range on the output side, right?
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Because the signal coming out is basically brand new, you can then run an additional 200 meters of COOCs.
For standard SDI, or 100 meters for 3G HD SDI. Wow.
Yeah, so you're not tethered right to the rack where the fiber terminates. You have flexibility.
And bandwidth-wise, this is pushing 3 gigabits per second, so it's fully compatible with HD TV.
Oh, yeah, all the key SMPTE standards like 3G, HD, SDI, and of course it's Laser Class 150 compliant, a necessary checkbox.
So let's talk about the form factor, because this is where that Pico Tools name comes in. In a broadcast truck or, a crowded server room, rack space is everything.
It's prime real estate. You don't want a giant 1U box for just one receiver.
And this thing is tiny. It's only about 2.5 inches wide.
And that density is really the selling point. You can mount 4 of these units side by side in a single rack space with an adapter.
4 channels in 1U. That's really impressive.
Super dense. And it just runs on a simple 5-volt DC supply, so power draw, thermal issues, all minimal.
Which I suppose helps explain the price. The MSRP is around $1,100 with the street price closer to $900.
It's an investment per channel, no doubt.
But you have to weigh that against the alternative, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go with video over IP, you're buying encoders, decoders, managed network switches, plus the headache of dealing with the network.
This is just a dedicated hardware point-to-point solution. You're paying for rock-solid reliability and zero latency.
It's essentially a transcurrent bridge. You put video in one end, it comes out 6 miles away. The production team doesn't have to think about what happened in the middle.
And that's the goal of any good infrastructure, isn't it? It should just be invisible.
It should just work.
It really makes you think about all the invisible heavy lifting that happens at a big live event. You watch a game and you don't realize there's a device weighing just 0.2 pounds sitting in a dark rack somewhere, making sure the feed from the sideline camera makes it to the truck without a single dropped frame.
And doing it across miles of glass, literally at the speed of light.
An amazing little piece of tech. That's the Kramer 690R for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.